and we're back here at 843 TV at Lowcountry Montessori School. Typically, I think some folks associate the Lowcountry schools with the preschool and the lower grades. Does it go beyond to the middle and high school?
Well, typically you'll see Montessori out in private sector, just covering preschool toddler programs. There's even infant programs out there that are Montessori based, but we actually will eventually go all the way through the 12th grade. We have preschool right now through the 10th grade, and we'll add a grade each year. And the philosophy is what kind of makes it all work. In the lower grades, you have a lot of the materials and things like that, and then the children start to abstract into that there's not a need for those materials anymore. And so as they get older, it becomes less concrete and more abstract. But it goes all the way through high school.
Okay.
So now, how do you handle for the high school age students who algebra is something that's part of a normal high school curriculum? Is that something that you're going to teach here in the Montessori school for teenagers? Yeah,
we do. And just to give you an idea, the high school is set up pretty much like a traditional high school, except for they have what we call personal world, where they're kind of internalizing, reflecting on, and trying to figure out what their interests are, and be kind of introspective in that. We're teaching that so that when they go off to college, they'll know what their interests are and they'll know what they want to do.
Right.
As opposed to getting to college as a freshman and kind of teetering around between things, maybe wasting a lot of time taking courses and money. And so I think that's where it differs. And we also have advisors. Each teacher pairs up with a student throughout their entire high school and is advising them throughout on anything. It could be a social issue they're having, problems at home. It could be that they're having trouble in a certain subject they need some extra help with. And so you have that really close-knit community in the high school, and that philosophy grounds that. But they still take the courses that are required by the state. They have algebra, they have the different subject matters.
Right, and is the evaluation process the same for regular schools, or is it different?
It is different at the lower grades, but once they hit high school, we've got to have a GPA. Yeah. And so they start getting grades for the courses and credits for the courses, and so that's where the big change happens. Okay. Before that, we do what we call mastery. We're trying to make sure the child has mastered something. I've
mastered the teens or whatever.
Right, exactly. And so, we have our progress reports would look something like they've been presented this lesson, they're practicing this lesson, they've mastered this lesson. Okay. So we don't want to quantify it because we're really making sure that all of those children are getting those skills. And once they have that skill, they're moving on to the next. So we're not doing them a disservice by saying, okay, you've got to have this skill by this date, and if you don't, we're going to move on. Right. We're going to have the skill down before we move on. Sure. So then you will have that foundation to get what you need next.
And I'll just add that they're multi-age grouping. So in a level, you have like lower L, you'd have first, second, and third grades. You have time within that period to go up and flow at your own pace. And the teacher, you typically would have that teacher for 3 years, so they would know you, they would know where you are, what you need next, and it's just a very tailored approach.
And to add on to that too, if you, with that multi-age grouping, which is really important in this kind of environment, if you walk into a classroom, you will see perhaps a third year working with a first year. So even though at this point there is a lead teacher and an assistant, we still use, our older friends, what we call them, our older friends, to help teach the younger friends. So we are also training them to be more independent in a way of, I see this child needs help, I'm going to go help them with their addition right now.
It's like a little mentoring program.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. A mentorship program.
And what better way to show they've mastered it than to actually be able to teach the lesson. So.
And that is kind of one of the final calls of mastered, is knowing if they can teach this child correctly, but we're still watching, we're still observing. That's a huge part. Then we just have to make sure, that. And we also make our mental notes that if they might be teaching a little bit incorrectly, then that's when we need to step in and make that note of, okay, I need to redo this lesson, revisit this lesson.
Well, it sounds like Maria Montessori was a little bit ahead of her time.
Yeah, she was a visionary.
She was.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about this school in particular and the population you serve.
Okay. Well, we serve, we have a program that serves 3-year-olds all the way through 10th grade. We're a free public charter school with the exception of the 3- and 4-year-olds. That's a fee-based program because we don't get money from the state. But we serve the entire state of South Carolina. Because we're a state-funded charter school, anyone from the state can come to our school, which is interesting because we do pull families from Hampton and Yemassee and Ridgeland and Bluffton, Hilton Head. We have families from all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
And they make the drive to come to this school. Yeah.
This is the second year at this facility. How has this benefited? Tell us some of the things about the facility that are beneficial.
Yeah. Well, we were in a temporary facility last year, which was challenging. We were very grateful that we had that facility because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to open our doors. But wow, this is so much better. And it's because we were, kind of crammed and it was tight quarters last year, which creates all kinds of things within a classroom. But now we have these spacious rooms to stretch
around,
and move, and especially with those little guys, there's lots of shelving and materials, and so there's room for everything, which makes a tremendous difference.
It also taught some of the students last year about resiliency, being able to be more resilient.
And some of the staff.
Yeah, and appreciation, and just being patient, knowing that it's coming and it will be here, and here we are.
And can you tell us for the viewers where we are exactly? So
we are. It's considered Port Royal, but our address is in Beaufort. We are located near Paris Island, kind of behind the Bilo.
Okay.
In a neighborhood.
Very good.
So.
Okay, we're going to take another short break and stick around for one more segment of 843 TV from Lowcountry Montessori School.